Is the Sam the Cooking Guy Essential Nakiri worth buying? Let's ruffle some feathers. Hey guys, so heard you loud and clear. You want more knife reviews? Here's another knife review. This was the single most requested knife that I do next. The Sam the Cooking Guy Essential Nakiri. Let's, I'm not even going to waste time with an intro. Let's just get right into it. So, first thing we want to talk about is, like I did with the Babish knife, kind of initial impressions on the online page. And again, notes, bear with me. So one of the things that I really immediately liked about the webpage for the knife was most of the info was pretty readily available and I didn't really have to hunt for anything. Stuff like the bevel angle, sharpened to 18 degrees, that's stuff that you don't always see right away and you kind of have to search for. So I really like that that was right there. The steel type was shown, things like that. Now there's one thing we're gonna get out of the way right away. This isn't a Nakiri. I don't know why it's being marketed as a Nakiri. It's not a Nakiri. Nakiris it's a boxy blade style. It's a rectangle. It's a fucking rectangle. This is really more of a Santoku. It's kind of just a wide belly Santoku, or a tall Santoku if you want to put it like that. Now, does that take away from the actual quality of the knife itself? No. But I hate that it's marketed like that because that's not what it is. I feel like Nakiris are kind of the most well-known, most coveted, kind of just from my personal experience, most coveted like Japanese style of knife that isn't like a Gyuto or a Santoku. So calling it a Nakiri and giving it a close to but not exact shape was kind of just a marketing ploy. It's a Santoku. Scroll down the page, see the steel type, which I like. The steel type is listed as X50, which is shortened. It's actually X50 CR-MOV 15, which is a mouthful, but it's just listed as X50. Now, and I'm kind of going off on a tangent here, a lot of things that I'm going to say sound nitpicky. And they are nitpicky. It's my job to review this. I'm supposed to be nitpicky. A lot of what I say is going to be subjective. At the end of the day, that's what it is. I thought just listing it as X50 instead of the full steel type was kind of lazy and could potentially cause some confusion. But you can Google it, you can figure out what it is. X50 CR-MOV 15. It's German steel. It's actually nearly identical to the Babish knife steel. The 114, whatever it was, German steel, is nearly identical in composition to X50 steel. So, kind of the same knife there, but a lot of major differences going forward from that. Another thing I really didn't like is they call the knife a hollow ground blade because of the divots in the knife. This is a super common misconception. People often call divoted knives that you often see on Santokus hollow edge. That's not what it is. A hollow ground knife is a style of sharpening. That's when you sharpen with a wheel and you get like the concave angles for the blade instead of just V'ing down. It's what's called a Granton edge. And again, common misconception. I've seen other knife makers do this too, and I hate it every time. You're a knife maker, you know what the hell you're talking about. Call it what it is. It's a Granton edge. And then it says, you're reading the stuff. It's like, oh yeah, it's a great knife, blah, blah, blah. You can crush garlic with the knife. This is a paring knife. You can crush garlic with a paring knife. Just wasted a clove of garlic for that. Or, if you're a fan of the Mythical Kitchen channel like me, if you're Josh Scherer, you can just palm heel. Don't advertise that you can crush garlic with a knife. I know, you guys like the chill, I look like I'm stoned, but I'm really just tired, exhausted line cook. I got a decent amount of sleep last night. It's my day off. And I'm getting fired up because I get hot, fiery about knives. So that's what we're doing today. Now, I can bitch all I want about how it's listed on the website, what it is versus what it isn't. That doesn't really actually tell us how the knife does. We don't have it in our hands yet. Well, we do. So we get it, and the box itself is branded. So, you know, on the front here, it says best day ever, okay? You open it up, and you got your little Sam the cooking guy, little card that comes with it, and the whole thing about, hey, it's a great knife, whatever. Nice. And then you pull it out. And then you get this little silhouette Sam the cooking guy sticker. You know, do with that what you will. And the box, actually, it's a nice box. You know, you got his little silhouette again. It says 7-inch Nakiri. It's a nice, you know, textured box. You open it up. Get this little foam piece over it. Got the knife in here. You also have a little blade guard, which I like because not a lot of knives actually come with blade guards. Granted, it's a cheap garbage blade guard, but it's better than nothing, and I'll give it to him for that. It's even got a little plastic tip at the end here for the point of the blade to slide into to keep it, you know, from fucking everything up. And then we get to the knife itself. Pull down the box here. Let's get all this stuff out of the way. And you have a Santoku marketed as a Nakiri. Now, the knife itself, it feels okay, just to hold. Pretty perfectly balanced. It's not a poorly made knife by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not saying that at all. There's just stuff that I don't like about it. But it is not a bad made knife. You know, full tang blade, forged steel. You got your Grant edge right here, not hollow ground. That's your Grant edge, stuff like that. And a pretty chunky handle, which I don't love that much. It's not super comfortable with me. It's almost like a hybrid style between like a Western and a Japanese style grip on the handle. Which I'm a fan of Japanese style grip. I like just like the simple barrel grips or octagonal grips that Japanese knives have sometimes. But this is just a thick handle, but it's not super, I don't personally like it. And again, a lot of this is going to be subjective opinion. At the end of the day, you're going to make your own decision. And then you got your, you know, Sam the cooking guy right here. Right there, focus, there you go. And it's actually embossed. It's actually textured on the blade. Again, this is just me. I don't really care for that. You can say that I'm bitching if you want to. I am. I don't really like that. I'd rather it just be printed on the knife, just smooth in there. I don't need any additional texturing on my knife. Oh yeah, and then on the back, you got his little silhouette, which I think I've seen before. YouTubers, what are you doing? Is this the style? Like when I become a rich and famous cooking YouTuber and have my own knife line, do I need a little silhouette to put on the heel or the back of the handle of my blade? What's up with that? Why is that the style? Anyway, you guys know the drill here. Tested the knife at work for about a week. I didn't mention this in the last video, but what I'm doing too is during my week of testing, I'm not caring for the blade. Like, you know, I'm keeping it clean, you know, making sure it's safe, but I'm not honing it, I'm not sharpening it. I'm just doing a week straight to see how the blade holds up. Because the average home cook doesn't do regular knife maintenance. And so I'm treating it as the average home cook would. And actually, it did all right. You know, so I'm gonna show you some footage here. First things first, obviously, you guys remember from the last one, bread, going through lots of bread. It made pretty quick work of the bread, especially day one. You follow into our standard mushrooms. Like I said, I do tons of mushrooms at work. Yeah, I do mushrooms at work. That'd be a bad time. And then we roll into pineapple, and pineapple's where it starts getting kind of weird. Not for the performance of the blade, but just because that's a tougher thing to cut. That's usually something I reserve for, beater knife. But it made pretty decent work with the pineapple. And yes, pineapple goes on pizza, fight me. And then we move on into onions. Now, the onions, I was doing about, 8 quarts of fine diced red onions. So that equated to roughly, 18, 19 onions that I had to fine dice. Lots of cutting, lots of blade work. And it was at this point that I was starting to feel the knife slow down a little bit. But I gave it a quick hone. I did concede because I wanted to keep using it, but I wanted to, get the work done and get it done properly. I honed it up once, and it brought the edge right back. And then the last thing we'll look at here is guanciale. This is just pretty simple trimming, dicing up guanciale, so that we can render it later. So the knife itself, it performed well enough. I don't have any issues with its performance. But like all the stuff I said earlier, and then it became uncomfortable to use for me after a while. I don't know if it just has to do with like the thickness of the spine, and then the spine itself, the edges, if you can see that, are like kind of rough. They're not super smoothed out, which isn't super common to just like completely smooth those out. But any professional cook you meet has a knife callus. Right here, we have a callus that develops on our hands from just constant knife work. And even with like my pretty seasoned knife callus, I felt this kind of digging into it, and because of that, it became uncomfortable to use. So, and that's a big thing that is going to drive me away from a knife, because that's one of the major things. Everybody talks about like, what's the steel type and blah blah blah, and it really comes down to edge retention and comfort. Does the knife hold a good edge? Is it not chipping? Is it tough? And is it comfortable to use? That is so important to me. Is the knife comfortable? Because an uncomfortable knife is going to make your prep work 10 minutes in suck. Again, not a bad knife, but in my eyes, not a great knife. Is it worth it? Well, maybe. If you like this style of knife, if you want to try it out, if you want to support, somebody that you're a fan of and buy their product, yeah, go for it. It's gonna hold up well. It's gonna cut well. It's not for me. It has not earned a spot in my knife bag. My actual regular Nakiri will be going back to work with me, which, by the way, if you're keen-eyed, you've noticed there's another knife sitting here. And this is my alternative. This is a Kyoku Daimyo. For about $5 more, you get a actual Nakiri with VG10 steel, which is a higher quality, harder steel than the X50. And it comes with like an actual nice blade guard. So again, kind of see the difference here, holding these straight. So you got your pros and cons. You got your Sam the Cooking Guy knife, you got your Grant Edge, you got a wider belly. With your Kyoku, you got better steel, which ultimately holds an edge better. This thing holds an edge for a very long time. I've had this knife for almost 2 years, I think. Edge retention on this guy's great. It's also an actual Nakiri. And to me, it's more comfortable to hold, more comfortable to use. And that's not me trying to sell you Kyoku. That's just what I use. I know you guys are curious about the knives that I use. This is my preferred Nakiri as of right now. Obviously, I'll test more Nakiris in the future, but this is what I like. So, I'm sure some of you guys aren't going to like this one. I know Sam the Cooking Guy has a lot of fans, but I just don't like the knife. It's okay. It's not for me. So that's about it for the review. I do want to thank everybody for blowing that Babish video up. That was insane. It's still going strong, and because of that, it's actually renewed my interest in keeping this YouTube thing going. I was getting discouraged before that. And yeah, again, thank you. It means the world to me. So, as always, hit those buttons down below that tell YouTube you like what I'm doing. Subscribe and all that good. Instagram, Twitter, LaunchpadCooks. Find me there. I post stupid stuff on Twitter. You can get, you know, night pictures, food pictures, cat pictures on the Instagram. And some people actually asked me about a Patreon. So I have a Patreon now. Also LaunchpadCooks. Links for everything I'm talking about will be in the description. But you can join my Patreon for as little as $1. And everything counts because it's going to help me keep buying knives. I've already got the next one lined up. Going to order it soon. And then also, again, with that subscribe button, as a thank you to you guys, I will be announcing a knife giveaway once I hit 10,000 subs. So make sure you're hanging out, make sure you're sitting around waiting for me, and I'll see you guys soon. Love y'all.